I'm gonna get out of here right now. Welcome back to Red Top Report, guys. I'm your host, Joe Enders. You already know me. We got Ronan here in the back with us. Ronan, say hi to everybody.
What's up, everybody? You know me.
We're going to be talking today about a video game. Probably a video game that everybody that watches this show is familiar with. We're talking about Minecraft, all right? We're talking about Minecraft, specifically because it was brought up on Church Militant's panel show called The Download. It was specifically brought up as a means to building Christian survival skills. Let's see what they had to say.
Have your kids actually play the game called Minecraft, because it is a survival game. This is where kids actually learn how to what we need, how do we cook our meat here? Well, you have to get a fuel source, whether it's wood or coal or whatever, and the coal is better, it burns longer. And it's a game where they can figure this stuff out on their own. So when
that game.
Is that a board game, Minecraft?
No, it's a video game.
Video game.
Yeah, Brad, I think you kind of got it a little bit misunderstood. That's okay. We love you, Brad. Who we also have with us is the guy who made the comment himself. Kyle Kopy, welcome to Red Top Report, dude. Good to have you here.
I am so honored to be on Red Top Report. Longtime viewer, first time guest, I guess.
First time guest, I would say, yeah. I see you also brought your diamond sword.
I am indeed brandishing a diamond sword. It is not enchanted. For those of you who know Minecraft, know what that means. It is, however, diamond, which is a very rare mineral in Minecraft, and that's one of the whole points of the game is to harvest these materials, which we're going to talk about why that's important.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I want to just not only touch on the fact he's not just known for his diamond sword, guys. He's known for much more. He also has one of the most prominent butt chins, I think, of anybody in Catholic media these days. What do you have to say about that, Kyle?
It's here. I would argue that if you shave maybe like Scott Hahn's beard or something,
that it might be under there?
There may be a butt chin under there. I'm not saying that that's
you were saying
verified.
Matt Fradd a little bit earlier.
Fradd might have a butt chin. I just feel like
it's kind of like a mini butt chin.
When I hear Fradd, I think butt chin. Even if he doesn't have one, like that voice speaks butt chin to me.
Well, I guess this is going to kind of be something that we're going to have to place on the back burner because I'm pretty sure everybody here is not ready to listen to butt chins. What we do have to talk about, Minecraft. This is a video game. So I'm a little bit older. So, I did play Minecraft when I was younger, but I didn't get it till I was around maybe 15 years old was about when it came out. I played it
2009, I think. Around 2009.
Well, it wasn't popular for till a few years later, was it?
Oh yeah. It didn't really take off.
I was going to say it was like an underground thing, and
it was like Seinfeld. It didn't take off right away.
There you go. So I should say maybe it's been out since 2000. I had no idea that it was that old. And it was actually created by this video game or this, I guess, tech guy. I wouldn't even say video game.
A nerd?
Yeah, we call them nerds.
That's what I would call them.
That's probably a proper term. Notch was his name. And I mean, dude, you got to read this guy's Wikipedia bio. It is so incredible. So I'm going to pull it up right now on my phone, and we're going to read just how wholesome this guy has, because his early life section is like the most wholesome upbringing of all time.
That's the main thing I go to on any Wikipedia page is the early life section of these dudes.
So yeah, his early life section says Marcus Alex Persson was born in Stockholm, Sweden, to a Finnish mother, Ritva, and a Swedish father, Birger. On the 1st of June, 1979, and he has a sister. He grew up in Edsbyn until age 7 before his family moved back to Stockholm. In Edsbyn, Persson's father worked for the railroad and his mother was a nurse. We're talking about a blue-collar guy here, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And he spent much of his time outdoors in Edsbyn exploring the woods with his friends. And
so he wasn't like on a computer all day. He wasn't hunkered down in his mom's basement.
Right. We're not talking about a basement dweller here. The creator of this game took something from his childhood that he found, that he greatly appreciated, which was, going out into the wilderness, chopping wood and just having fun, exploring the woods, finding wildlife, all those sorts of things, and turning it into a reality that can be had on the computer for young people.
But he wasn't, when he was chopping wood, he wasn't using his hands, like
No,
punching
not like-
trees.
right, yeah, that's
and
the more of a
punching
Minecraft
dirt, dirt. I mean, I don't know. I mean, your audience is young enough to know, like in Minecraft, it's very pixelated. It's very blocky. It's very like, Sega Genesis 64-bit type of thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's an element of non-realism there. Obviously, it's a video game, right?
Sure.
But
he was doing what he could with it, and it turned into an international phenomenon. I mean, you have like all sorts of other things, like even the Vatican. I should say a Jesuit priest created a server on Minecraft for the Vatican.
And have you been on it? Have you been on that server?
No, and if I would, I'd probably get banned in a day for putting a giant, red top report and church militant banner up in there so that like we can just advertise the site and the show, and they'd be like,
"Get that out of here! They call out bishops that are bad."
They might not like it. I wonder if Pope Francis has ever made a shelter and cooked some meat in Minecraft.
I feel like that would probably be the most based thing that he had ever done.
That'd be awesome. I'd
like talk about not caring about what the haters think, Ronan.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that would be easily top 10 Francis moments, probably top 3.
Yeah, we're going back to a dope Francis. You can play the
someone should do an AI generated Pope Francis with a because you can play on PC, obviously.
Yeah,
that's where the true.
That's the original one.
Yeah, that's where the true crafters play.
If you're not playing Java Minecraft, then like you're
Well, that's the one I had when I first got it.
That's the OG.
Minecraft.
You play in Java Minecraft. Okay.
I mean, I'll have to admit, I'm not a PC gamer, so I got the Xbox. So
you're not a member of the PC Master Race?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry to say.
I'm sad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm.
So you're Xbox.
I got the Xbox and I play it on the Xbox, and that's about it.
You know what? I think so much less of you now.
First of all, I need to clarify. Like, I don't play this game. Like, I am Joe talks about how he's old. I'm knocking down 40. Pretty soon. In a few years. I don't play this game. I'm not a gamer. I play this because my kids play it.
Yeah, but you understand it, and honestly, there's a lot of good aspects to the game Minecraft I think other games don't have. I mean, first of all, depending on the server you join, obviously, because you could really do anything in the game, but the game isn't pushing trans propaganda or anything like that. It seems to me that like the main idea of the game is to push self-reliance, to push survival, to push creativity, all the things that I think that young kids should be interested in. It's almost to me like the digitized version of Legos.
It is. Yeah. I mean, Lego's very wholesome toy for your kids to play with.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them going into Toys R Us. Actually, Toys R Us doesn't even exist anymore. Wherever your kids buy their toys, you don't have to worry about them going in there and seeing like, intersectional Barbie or whatever. Although, no, I'll tell you a story with this. Even with Minecraft, like the different realms or worlds that you buy or whatever, there was a Black Lives Matter one on there, and my kid accidentally like bought it. It was free, and Black Lives Matter was like spray painted on the road. They did that in some city or whatever. And he's like, "Dad, what's Black Lives Matter?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, delete that word."
I just want somebody to make like a 400-foot tall like memorial statue to George Floyd just on a certain.
I'm sure it exists.
Well, it's going to exist in the center of New York City pretty soon.
Yeah, that's actually going to exist. Yeah. No, but here's and then someone too is gonna make animated kitty Minecraft porn.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
And then they're gonna show it to Dennis Prager, and he's gonna be like, "I don't think that's evil. That's not evil. Evil's a behavior. That's not a yes."
Shout out to the last video, guys.
Exactly. Go watch that video. Go watch that Red Top Report.
Do you use the word evil of animated child pornography? Because I certainly would.
No, I would use evil only with behavior. You didn't do evil if you thought evil. You did evil
if I'm
if you
masturbating
committed.
to animated pictures of pornography, I'm not doing something evil.
That's correct.
I think that's despicable.
You did a good job.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that. That whole thing. I mean, I don't want to go too far into that. Needless to say, I was a little heated after watching that whole thing. I was like, what on earth is this garbage? But anyways, going back to this game is, like I said, it's more like Legos. And yeah, there's there are servers on there that are going to have left-wing propaganda in them. But like I said, I mean, it's sky's the limit. It's creativity that dictates, the existence of these things. Like the Vatican will have a server that doesn't want any of that nonsense in it, and then
I hope so.
Black Lives Matter will have a server where that sort of nonsense is common as well. It's like I said, you can make a giant big gay Lego wedding cake, or you could make a giant Lego based in red-pilled crucifix.
So Minecraft, you're saying, is like a double-edged sword. Kind of like the internet. It can be used for good purposes, can be used for bad purposes. That's what Minecraft is.
Ronan, what do you have to say about that?
So basically what I have to say is that like y'all are talking about servers and realms and all that. Us old school Minecraft players, okay, we were a single player kind of.
It was single player survival.
Yeah, single player survival. Maybe you go in a little creative mode. You kind of build. I remember I built like the parish I went to. I like built it in Minecraft. Like I was like, this is the church I go to. Yeah,
you were like Father Ronan. Like, doing mass.
Well, no, I had a priest skin, so I was like I had a priest skin and stuff like that.
Exercising Enderman.
Wait, tell me. Wait, you did that all on your mom didn't make you. She's like, you need to build a church.
I did it on my own. I was like, I want to build my. Like,
Ronan is like the most wholesome person on the planet.
Based 10-year-old.
Yeah,
I guess apparently I was a base 10-year-old.
Like when I was a 10-year-old. If I was a 10-year-old playing Minecraft, I would have just made like a giant 400 foot tall poop or something.
I would have done that. I would have just blown everything up.
That's also, yeah. So actually I did do this. So I actually built the Sears Tower on Minecraft when I first started playing it out of black wool and white wool, because if you know the Sears Tower, it's like black. And then the top, you have like the 2 white antennas. And then I lit it on fire.
Exactly.
Burned it to the ground. That's all.
Well, and it's not a bad thing because Minecraft's a very masculine game. I mean, there are like girl Minecrafters out there, but few and far between. I think this is true of like gaming in general. Like the world is primarily like male dominated, Minecraft especially, because it's masculine. Like you're out in the wilderness, you got nothing, and you got to make your own way in terms of survival.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it is one of those games that's out there that I think that it really does send a good message to young people. Now, obviously, I don't think that you should, like have your kids glued to it for like 20 hours a day or anything like that, or you shouldn't be glued to it, 20 hours a day or anything like that.
No, moderation is key. This is true this opens up a broader conversation about screen usage and video game usage. Moderation is key here.
Well, one of the things that Minecraft, I think, really did provide for a lot of people that most games have been geared towards, and we were talking about this a little earlier today, they're geared towards taking a glimpse into someone else's imagination and living out the story that was created in their imagination. There's never, that's why people seem to be like devoid of new ideas. Because back in the day, before we had, I would say, illustrious video games. I mean, all of us grew up with video games. Before we had illustrious video games that had like complex storylines, great actors playing all the voices and stuff, and professional musicians on it and everything. It was we had to go. We would go outside and we'd figure out things to do. We'd create our own things in our head and we'd do those things. And you look at the upbringing of Notch, and you see that this game was very much created with that spirit of like, I was out in the woods and this is what it was like, and I want to show everybody else this. But the interesting thing about what he did on the broader sense with the entire game was he actually allowed the individual player to create his own world, his own destiny based on, this. And as far as survival games go, it was the first one, I think, to really blow up, to really just become a culture-wide, generation-inspiring thing where kids were actually given an outlet to be purely creative without any ideology injected.
And it's still going strong too. Like I really see no end in sight when it comes to Minecraft, because it has that element, like you were saying, of creativity. You make your own way, and it's really like a virtuous thing. When you talk about the other games where you're sort of, they're very well done. They're very well acted and whatever put together. Very well done. But those sort of like lock you into this narrative, or like, a few different timelines or whatever that you could choose maybe, but you can't with Minecraft, you're almost designing it as you're going. Like
the story is yours to make.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you say like, oh, we had RPGs, we had like Fallout, we had all these other things. No, those all still have pre-prescribed stories to them. This one is you're in the wilderness, you got to survive. So once you figure out how to survive, what are you going to do after that? And then it's just like I said, sky's the limit. And not only that, it also kind of shows people just through the natural progression of things that, oh, I'm losing health, I need to eat. Oh, I want to build this house, I need to get more wood, I need to do this. You actually have to work for something in the game in order to get it. You have to work to get the materials to create the things, and then not only that, you have to combine different materials to make other materials to do more advanced things.
It allows kids. First of all, there's a mode in Minecraft called Create Mode. And I don't let my kids play in create mode. Why? Because they're just going to go buck wild and make whatever they want. They get everything free, basically. It's like getting all the cheat codes to a game. Never play a game like that. Confine yourself to the rules of the game. In Minecraft, if you're hungry, you have to eat. You can't just get free food. You have to actually do some work for the food. Yeah. Maybe the kid wanted to build some elaborate building somewhere, but no, he's like dying of hunger, so he's got to go out and do the drudgery of slaughtering an animal.
Right, and that's what's fun about the game too. And there is killing in there, but it's the killing of animals for the purposes of food.
And it's not gory or anything. There's not like blood flying all over the place, limbs chopping off.
No, there's explosions and stuff like that. There are things out there that are trying to kill you. That's the other thing I like about it. The good and evil is very cut and dry in Minecraft. You have creatures that are dangerous and that you can see are dangerous. You have creatures that are not dangerous and that you can see are not dangerous. And it doesn't seek to paint anything in any sort of light by doing that. It's just saying, okay, the black glowing thing or the green, the green thing with the scary face on it. And obviously we're talking about Endermen and creepers and the spiders and stuff. Everything that can hurt you in the game displays that it's dangerous in some way, which I think creates positive associations in the child's mind to recognize danger in the real world.
And it's clear cut. It's in your face. There's no like questioning if you walk up to, they call them mobs. If you walk up to a mob that's evil, you're going to say, yeah, even a 4-year-old looking at that's going to know like, oh, that thing probably wants to kill me. I should run or get out my sword.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the other option. It's not just flight, right? It's fight or flight in the game as well. And it allows kids to learn right judgment. Regarding circumstances. If you're going up against an enemy that is too dangerous, too dangerous that's going to kill you, that's going to harm you, you have the opportunity to run away from it and get back to shelter and keep yourself safe from whatever's trying to attack you. And then when it's something that you can defeat, it gives you the opportunity to step up to the plate and actually pull out your sword and actually fight it. Or it also gives you the opportunity to fight somebody that you think is stronger than you and figure out a way to overcome and beat it, or just be killed by it and have to deal with the consequences of being killed in the game.
Yeah, and it's sort of it can be nerve-wracking too. I know people, maybe this is true for all video games, but people's heart rate gets up, and when something surprises you, something pops on your screen, you hear people, scream or whatever. This is kind of like the reaction that you see when you're watching these streamers, and there's actually a lot of good Minecraft streamers out there, people that you can like learn from. This is one of the reasons why people watch video game streamers, because they want to know how to beat this part of it, or they want to know how to build this and someone else has done it. So yeah, shout out to people like Luke the Notable. He's a great Minecraft streamer. Shout out to people like Sean from Forge Labs. And the great thing about those guys that I mentioned is that you can your kids can watch their stream and they're not like dropping F-bombs. I hear a lot of like blasphemy on there, a lot of JCs, a lot of OMGs and things like that with some of these streamers. And I have to like shelter my kids from that. It's like, no, you can't watch that streamer. He might be a really good guy, but he's like using our Lord's name in vain every other second.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that kind of goes to just the greater problem of the secular internet. You really do have to be careful. And today with Minecraft, you have these servers that have tons of different people. Those people have microphones. They can say whatever they want at any time, and you can't prepare for it as a parent. And one of the things that I always like to recommend to people is once your kids are older, you shouldn't have to shelter them from these sorts of things. They should know what to do in those situations. I don't believe that, banning your 13-year-old from going on a Minecraft server and saying you can't go on there because there's people on there that swear or use the Lord's name in vain. I was like, okay, Dad, okay, Mom, you didn't teach him that there's people in the world that do that and that the people that do that are wrong for doing it.
Yeah,
that's all they need to know.
That stuff has to be inculcated at a young age.
Exactly. Now I know your kids are younger. I'm not commenting on you specifically. So, but yeah, when your kids are 13 years old and stuff like that, and they're playing video games and stuff, yeah, they can play online video games. All they need to know is that they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully you've taught them that.
By then,
13 years old. Yeah. I mean, there's still.
This is a huge problem among Catholics with parenting. I'm going to be writing an article about this. Keep your eyes out, guys. It's coming. And I'm going to be specifically bringing up this problem with Catholics sheltering their kids. Video games are not inherently evil, guys. They're not inherently evil. It's ridiculous to say that they are.
But rap music is, just to tell you. I'm just joking.
I don't know. Bro. We should get our boy Enoch back on here.
Where's Enoch? Enoch's going to be mad at me.
He's going to be mad at Kyle. Leave Kyle alone. He's just kidding. Catholic parenting has actually become almost abusive in the fact that it sends kids into a world that they are not prepared to deal with or understand.
I mean, a friend of mine talks about this specifically to do with the marital act, actually, because you could shelter these kids so much as to where you never explain anything. The old birds and the bees talk. Like some parents are just totally sweeping all of that under the rug, and then when these kids get married, they have no idea. Like, what do I even do here? So
yeah, that's wrong. But on a deeper level, how do I put this? The Catholics are the future brand ambassadors of the faith. They're the ones that are going out into the world and showing what the brand of Catholicism offers. You will know them by their fruits, right? So if you will know them by their fruits, and you raise them in a way that they have no idea what they're getting into when they're going into the culture. They have no idea the pitfalls of this culture. They have no idea how to navigate those pitfalls, get around those pitfalls, and try to explain in a Catholic light the way things ought to be to people their age. Then what good have you done? What disciples have you raised? What apostles have you raised? It's worthless. You've raised children that can do nothing but receive the sacraments. Congratulations, I guess. Guys, there's more to the faith.
The kids go from your home to the church and they see nothing of the outside world.
And they're nerds because of it. They grow up to be people that obsess over minute differences in theology that they just go around debating other Catholics about instead of going into the world and evangelizing this secular hellscape that we're living in today, where there's drag queens twerking in front of 4-year-olds and, gay people walking around naked on the city streets for their pride parades.
So when those type of kids get out into the world, I mean, imagine the shock that's going to be, and it's hard. It's a real art for a parent to slowly expose their child to that kind of a secular world. I mean, it's not easy. I'm not saying, any parents are like, oh, you should be doing all this. No, it's got to be real hard. And I'm sort of learning it as I go. My kids, my oldest is not even 10 yet. So it's like we're having those type of conversations with him and his younger siblings as they are ready for it, as it's appropriate. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be having the conversations.
But there's a way to do it right, and a lot of that is allowing them to do it themselves. That's my point, is like they need to be able to play games online with their friends. They need to be able to experience the world as it is once they're mature enough and understand right and wrong enough to do so. I personally would use the age of reason as the indicator of that, and obviously that varies from kid to kid. It's anywhere from 8 years old all the way up through 13 years old.
Yeah,
but somewhere in between that 8 and 13 number, that kid is able to understand right from wrong, and then he is allowed to, gradually be introduced to the evils of the world that exist and start aiding in the repair of that and the bringing about of the kingdom of heaven on earth.
I would say it's usually around the time when your kid figures out that Santa Claus isn't real. Wait, no, I can't say that. This is Red Top Report.
Are you a Santa denier?
This is Red Top Report.
Are you a Santa denier?
No, Santa is totally real.
I'm going to get out of here right now.
No, I won't go down that road. But no, you can tell when it comes to when kids start asking certain types of questions, like they're questioning the Santa thing or whatever. You're like, okay, this kid is looking at the world. He's tapping into his rational ability. Like we're all born in the image and likeness of God. We're all born with a rational ability, but it's like a muscle. It hasn't been fully worked out yet. You can tell when a kid starts to develop that muscle of rationality.
Yeah.
And I think that's the appropriate time.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you do that, it becomes less about keeping them safe from the evils of the world and then more preparing them how to be warriors and fight in that world. Specifically sons. I think for a lot of women, they need to know about those, they need to know and be aware of those things, but they need to be also focused on what they need to find in a husband to protect them from the evils of those worlds, as opposed to actually being taught to be a warrior and go out and fight. I don't know what you think about that, but that's always been my position.
No, that is true. I mean, I'm really appreciative, going back to the fact, we talked about earlier about exposing kids to the culture. I'm really appreciative of the fact that, I was kind of raised in a nominally Catholic household.
Yeah.
Kind of wishy-washy. We went to church most Sundays. I didn't really know the faith that well. So I was like heavily secular growing up. So I saw all the stuff that any kid, could have saw.
Yeah.
And so when I had my, reversion, conversion, whatever, acceptance of the faith, it was like you were talking about. Now I had that arsenal of, I know the bad. Like you can't shock me with any of the bad because I've seen it all. But now I have, the gift of grace, the gift of faith to apply to that and to tell people why that bad is wrong and to steer people away from it.
Yeah,
so
you're just more effective, and more importantly, you're one of the people. You're one of the culture itself. You know all about it. If you can be someone that was walking around in that culture and has now consciously decided to diagnose all the problems with it and then say, but here's the prescription, you are immensely more effective than someone who goes up, can't diagnose the problem and just says, here's a prescription, here's a prescription, here's a prescription. Well, you're just some dude, you're kind of just some dude standing on the side of the street of a pharmacy holding up a thing that says free drugs. That's not convincing to anybody. Hold up your end is nigh sign while you're at it too. It's not going to convince anybody. You need to show people that you understand where they live, where they're coming from, and how they're doing things. And then you're able to actually say, now here's the prescription. And then they'll listen.
This is why if you look at like the best therapists out there for substance abuse recovery, alcoholism, whatever, the best people to help you guide through that are recovering addicts themselves, whether it's a 12-step program where you're sitting around there with other addicts, whether you have a therapist who is in recovery, who has, went to school for therapy or whatever, and now is helping other people because they've been in the trenches before. Yep. And it's really hard for someone who hasn't to kind of speak to that experience.
Yeah. And I would say more importantly, guys, this is just for the entire audience. And it's okay if your kid plays video games once in a while. It's okay that your kid wants to play video games. Just make sure they're playing games that are creative, that inflame and order, or that don't inflame, that order their passions rightly towards reason, towards imagination, towards creativity, towards reason. All of those things are good for your kids to have. If the game brings about those things, there's nothing wrong with it.
I would add like problem solving into like the idea of, and that's why Minecraft is really like based in Red Pilled, if you will, because you have that which you guys talked about a lot, which I think is great, but just also the problem solving aspect and how like because lots of games have like puzzles and all that kind of stuff, but like Minecraft in that kind of sandbox environment has that idea that you can kind of do whatever you want and you can solve the problems however you want. The way you can defeat a boss however you want. The Ender Dragon at the end of the game, that's how you beat the game in Minecraft is you never really beat it because you can just do whatever you want, however long you want. But when you technically beat the game by defeating the Ender Dragon, and that's a very difficult thing to do. You have to, there's all these steps you have to complete first before you can do that. So you have to solve all these little problems and can go on these little journeys and everything else. However you want to do them.
You have to prepare too.
You have to prepare, right. And you have to prepare and survive and everything else to get to that point to eventually technically beat the game.
Okay, so here's why Minecraft is like real life, because it's a mix of creativity and law. So you have, and this is like how we operate in our world, right? We have a lot of freedom in our world. We have a lot of license, a lot of freedom, but there are biological laws, chemical laws, natural laws, divine laws that we ourselves have to use our reason and our will to figure out and actually correspond to and actually live out in our lives. So it's got that great mixture of living in the world. I had a professor once who talked about it as man is both a servant and free at the same time. There are certain things that he can do, but there's certain things that he's absolutely bound by. And that's what Minecraft is. You can't do everything or anything in Minecraft. You can do some things, you can work within parameters, but you can also do things that no one else has ever done before.
Like make water into an elevator.
I did that actually a couple of days ago, which I'll tell you, don't do that because it's slow. Use the actual wooden ladder instead because you can get up quicker.
Oh, okay,
this is like
gotcha.
inside Minecraft baseball
Thank
here.
you. I always did I did the water elevator.
Don't do that.
So, well, then this is your kids know about redstone?
Yeah, but they're not great at working with it.
So this is that. So if you don't know Minecraft, redstone's like the electricity kind of it's the
Right.
It's electricity of Minecraft. This kind of makes things go.
It's like the
So you can-
cables that connect.
It's like cable, yeah. So you
Yeah.
can kind of automate things. You can make machines and all that kind of stuff. Not super complex, at least without mods and things like that. But which is a whole nother thing. That,
Yeah.
I mean, I like as my mother had me do because I was kind of obsessed with Minecraft as a kid. My mother had me take a class where I modded Minecraft. So I learned JavaScript by modding Minecraft, and it was a cool thing you get to
And
do.
that's actually a marketable skill, by the way, as well.
It is, yeah.
Being able to do rudimentary coding.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah. I don't really remember much of it, but anyways, my point is that redstone is this idea of problem solving and everything else, and trying to figure out how can I use these things, and the signal only goes so far, so you have to repeat it after a while, and then you can have these like little circuits of stuff, and it's essentially, I would compare it. Do you know those little games they have, like the boards where you have like a little thing and you can make it like light stuff up and you can put all the pieces together? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like a STEM game.
Yeah,
kind of.
I could put one in post or whatever, but like I'm sure you guys have probably seen it before. It's like that, but in this digital world, and you can make it as big as you want. You know what I mean? So I think that's like probably one of the most underrated things. Like people don't know about Minecraft.
You're talking about marketable skills when it comes to this type of stuff, and we've mentioned moderation before. Like obviously, like here's a practical tip for parents out there. If you're wondering how long and how often my kids should actually play video games, like utilize a great technology called a timer.
Yeah.
Like there's parents out there that are like, oh, well, they started playing at this time and maybe they can have 45 minutes. No, actually set a timer for your kid to play a game. When it goes off, everyone hears it. So it's not like, oh, you said this time. Like, no, I set the timer, dude, and it went off and you're done. So that's a practical tip for parents.
Don't let them start playing it and without that standard being in place to begin with. Like the first time that they play that game, you put that timer down. Make sure that the timer is intertwined with the game.
Put the timer down. Also have incentives for the game. Like do your homework first and then Minecraft. It's not like first thing I wake up in the morning, yeah, let's pop on the Xbox or whatever. No. Have it at the end of the day, have it incentivized as to where they have to do something to get it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And broad point, just the broad point here, let your kids do things that kids are doing. Nothing sinful, obviously, but if it's righteous, your kids should be doing what all the other kids are doing. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not evil. It's not from Satan. Let them be normal kids. Let them develop in the generation and the culture that they were born into. Let them understand the things that are good and the things that are evil so that they can navigate the world that they live in when they do become adults. That's your duty as a parent. Get them to navigate the world throughout their entire lives until they make their way to heaven.
What sucks is that's a hot take.
Yeah, I can't believe this is a hot take. For Catholic parents, this is a hot take. And it's like, dude, no, like stop making your kids nerds. We don't like that. They don't like that. They feel ostracized. They feel like they should have been born in the 1800s. Why do you want your kid to feel like they were born in the 1800s? Kopy, why?
I make my own kids churn their butter and make their own clothes. I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. they have never seen a TV in their entire life. You know, that's how it is. But no, it's especially when it comes to Minecraft too. Minecraft is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. Like, you know, I used to be, as you know, I used to be a high school teacher, and to the man, every single kid, it seemed like, had been obsessed with Minecraft, played Minecraft. I would make Minecraft references in class or whatever, and it would get a nice big laugh. I actually hear, I mean, if people can see, like, we have a little figurine over here, a little Steve, little figurine. This is one of my kids' toys, actually. We have the creeper, we have the skeleton, we got the armored Steve or whatever. So as bathroom passes for my kids, yes, we have bathroom passes for my high school kids. I taught in all boys high school, and you wouldn't believe like how many bathroom emergencies there were in an hour. It'd be like 10 kids would be gone. So I had to like go old school and do elementary school bathroom passes for teenagers.
Nice.
Yes, it's a thing. And I brought in the Minecraft characters as the bathroom passes. Ronan can throw up a picture of this at some point. But my students, they loved these things.
Yeah.
They loved them a little too much because, as I said, I taught at an all boys high school. I would often come into the class and I would see my Minecraft figurines placed in, let's say, risque positions.
Oh no!
Yes, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And there'd be like new positions every day. I'm like, what are you guys reading, like the Kama Sutra or something? How do you know about all these positions? And so I'm like, if I ever catch a kid doing that, but no, they would love them. And they actually took them to chapel one day, and I got a picture of this too. They actually took the Minecraft characters to chapel one day, sat them in the pew, and put rosaries around them and stuff like that.
And there's the happy ending. That's when you know that you were really getting through to them, you know?
Exactly.
So no, I do appreciate that. Well, I just want to say thank you for coming on, Kyle. I think this was a good discussion. I think this is something that every Catholic parent needs to hear. And with that said, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode of Red Top Report. Thank you for joining us. Play some Minecraft. Have some fun. By the way, follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Do it. And you already know what else you guys need to be doing. Click that notification bell so you can let us know when we're dropping new content. That's important. You got to know when the new Red Top's coming out. Oh, yeah. And I bet you thought that's what was coming before, but it's coming right now. You need to give us your money. And you can give us your money by going to buymeacoffee.com. You can do a single donation, or you can do a monthly Joe for only $5 a month. And with that said, guys, it's all we got this time. God bless you.